All right, welcome everybody. Uh, Big week. Box office, box office quarterbacks. Monday morning quarterbacks.
Richard, what's our selection here? We have this isn't Taylor Swift, Richard.
It is thematically related. You should be able to identify this.
I know the song. Is it about a showgirl? That's what I'm trying.
This is the great Peter Frampton
Right.
singing "Show Me the Way."
Show me the
Uh,
way. Okay. All right.
okay, I cannot. No to our callers, to our visitors this week. Somehow it's not the number of people in the room and who's coming in, and questions and comments are not appearing to me. But I
Okay.
believe we are nonetheless live.
I
I
should be
think
able to see. I see some names and I should see some comments, Richard. If I see something,
you see them. Okay, you
I should
see.
be able to, yeah, to track that. So,
All right, you can see it, but I cannot. So
all right. I will
you can
interject.
respond to it. Everybody. Welcome then to welcome again then to box office Monday morning box office quarterbacks, where we look at the weekend's box office triumphs and less than triumphs. Thank you, Mr. Peter Frampton, showing us the way
Showing us the way.
to the showgirl, to the release party of the showgirl. What a weekend it was. Taylor Swift, with 2 weeks notice, no marketing or anything, just stepped in and claimed the weekend's box office.
Yes.
Bigfooted it, as they would say.
I guess that's a new term. Yeah, for the box office.
Yeah.
Richard, you had some family members who went to go see the Showgirl movie. What was the sense of the Rushfield household?
I'll tell you, it was uh, they we have a hardcore Swifty in our house, so there a lot of excitement building up. The feeling. So they went to the AMC Century City, prominent theater on Friday evening, and they reported it was half filled,
Oh,
and there some people got up and were dancing around in front of the screen, as one does and should, and some cranky gentleman there got up and told everybody to sit down in their seats
well,
and
we should
behave
clarify
themselves.
that was not you. Just to be clear, that was not just for the record. Okay, a different cranky
No,
gentleman stood up and
yeah.
wow. I mean,
Uh,
that's shocking on many levels. I don't even know where to start with that one. A, that you were reprimanded, and B, that there was a cranky old gentleman inside the Taylor Swift movie. But
I
yeah,
guess he thought. I guess he,
he
was
was in the wrong theater. He was in the wrong
trying to go to
theater.
Downton
Yeah.
Abbey or something, and
He took a wrong turn.
and why are all these people? Lady, we got to see if Lady Mary inherits, and all these people are dancing in front of the screen. What's happening? But
Yeah, no wonder. All right, so good time otherwise. How about, yeah, half empty. I heard. Well, half full, half empty, depending on your perspective there. That's interesting. But 30 now it's up to $34 million, Richard.
okay.
Number one here, it said not bad for a movie that had no TV advertising. It was a very minimal marketing budget. 46, $47 million globally. It also showed in some theaters internationally. Uh, Look, it's all gravy for theaters. I don't, is there really any kind of a
Yeah.
downside of this whole thing, right? I mean, in a sense, what was
I
your
mean,
takeaway here?
this is a theme we've been working with here. There's a lot of, if Star Wars were opening this weekend, they might not have the screens to
Right.
give to Taylor Swift that way. But there's a lot of open space, and other people besides major Hollywood studios are figuring out things they can do in that space and ways they can make use of it. And in the past, she might have even had to wait to do this in the middle of the week to get
Mm,
all the screens she needed or something. But now you can just
yeah.
step right up and say, like, oh, you don't have a major motion picture opening this weekend, as it turns out. So
Right.
so how about this instead?
Yeah. Yeah. Now, I wonder if there's any trailers that aired before. I just should have asked that question. I don't know if there's anybody used this as a promotional vehicle for any, for Roofman or something like that. How do we,
It,
uses to get people coming back to it. But I'd be
but
curious to find out.
just think of that. All of Hollywood studios, all the Hollywood studios did not. If it hadn't been for Taylor Swift, did not have a major release this weekend from the
Well, I mean,
eight twenty.
A24 might
I'm
argue the
the
point.
legacy studios. I'm saying
Okay, sure,
all
sure.
of them combined did not have one.
Right. There was not The Rock's Smashing Machine was the big movie that was that was opening this weekend. So yeah, there was not a traditional studio film
I
on the
mean,
date, Richard.
15 years ago, what was there a single weekend like that ever
Well, much
where
less the
there
first
wasn't a
week,
major release?
in the first weekend of October, no less, which is traditionally a pretty big weekend. I mean, this is has been Warner Brothers weekend for for us, the Joker and the Nun, and they've kind of or, not the Nun, but the Joker certainly has been a couple of weekends. I think of Stars Born was around this time. Anyway, yeah, kind of that is unusual. Now, we find these weekends, Richard, they still kind of pop up, even though we think we're past this era, whatever that might have been, where it was kind of uneven. I'm like, you still have these pockets here where it's a little like, oh, I mean, it's a curious phenomenon, Richard. I don't really have an answer for you other than everybody's looking for a date for stuff, and all of a sudden, one appears, and
Yeah.
Taylor's like, sure, there we go, I'll step in.
Um, Incredible. I don't know what lessons there are about Taylor specifically. She's pretty singular.
Yeah, I mean,
Uh,
it's it'd be interesting for someone else to try this kind of thing. Other than you can be creative about this kind of stuff, but to do a $34 million, I mean,
yeah,
Beyonce tried this with her concert film after the Eras tour. It opened to about, I think it was 29, maybe $30 million, and fell off sharply after that. The Eras tour finished, I think, at $260 million globally. So
yeah,
definitely
which
some
isn't which
tier.
isn't bad for a concert film.
Sure, if you can get 30 million
To
bucks,
be clear,
again, it doesn't all have to be that, if it's not a home run, forget about it. I mean, again, like if you can create, this is all money, this is gravy. This was essentially all music, lyric music videos and things. The production costs here weren't like sky high on Taylor's end. So,
but someone who has both the reach and the loyalty of their fan
right.
base that they can point their finger and
Yeah.
a few million fans materialize. Like
Yeah.
that's pretty. A lot of people have that reach, but I don't think if Mr. Beast said in 2 weeks, like I don't think
Yeah.
if Joe Rogan said that, I don't think Call Me Daddy said that, you'd have millions of people just materialize at the same time, paying $10 a pop to
Yeah.
see them.
Exactly. And we actually had an example of this. I mean, not exactly, not exactly Taylor Swift, but Dude Perfect, a creator, big figure in the YouTube creator economy. They released a tour there here, their a movie of their tour, and it grossed nowhere near $33 million. I'll tell you that right
Yeah.
now. Didn't even
Yeah.
gross $1 million. So I'll tell you that this is a very, very, very high bar, Richard. So
Yeah.
nice to see. I
But
don't know. There's a huge lesson to take from this for anybody, but
well, I
all
mean,
ideas are welcome.
you don't have to make 33 million as if you have a reach that can get 10% of this with no marketing costs,
Right.
you know that's
And
a
the pro-
that's $3 million you raked in a weekend. I'd like to rake in $3 million in a weekend. So
yeah, right. Well, if we all should have those problems, Richard. Yeah, exactly.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So
So
kudos to Taylor. Thanks for the shot in the arm. It's a one weekend only thing. This is not whereas the Eras Tour played for weeks. This is a kind of one and done here. So
yeah, and
now
then
on our way.
and Hollywood will be coming back with a roaring back with a
Well,
vengeance.
yeah, Tron Air is coming this weekend. We'll get to that at the end of the conversation. But
So how are we feeling about One Battle on week
yes,
two?
this is the number two movie of the weekend. 11 million bucks. The drop 49%, which is pretty. It's pretty solid. I'd say heartened by this. It is. It held pretty well. It is about the same where Flower Moon was. Honestly, there's a 2 million discrepancy in the U.S. gross. It'll do a little bit, seemingly a little bit better than Flower Moon, and we'll see how the legs go out here in October.
So where did that end up?
ended up around 68 million US. I think it was 156 million globally. So if this, I targeted out again, but there's still more to come here. And, to be clear, I'm, this is just pontificating, but like, all right, let's say it hits 180 globally, which is
Mhm.
could be theoretically, that's feasible here. You're
Okay.
going to lose about 40 million ish, and
40
on your
million,
production
half
spend.
of which is taken up by the partners. So
Yeah, I mean, it's
so Warner
as I said,
Warner. So the worst case scenario, assuming they also that this film makes $0 anywhere ancillary is worth
right.
nothing
This is
to the
just on
service,
theatrical. To be clear, yes,
has
exactly right.
has no value, has no the streaming services say we will not play your movie. So if
Yeah.
so worst case scenario of that is Warner Brothers loses $20 million. That is what all the hand wringing is about.
Yeah, and again, the Conjuring, the money they made from the Conjuring covers any losses, including marketing spend on
But
this.
even,
So across the board. So
even if this was the only movie they released this year, that they
well,
lose
that may be a
they
little
that
more.
they lose $20 million. Like
Yeah, look, no one wants to is in the business to lose money. I'm not like okay advocating. I'm just saying this isn't a disaster. This isn't the thing that everybody was like is going to take down the regime or
this
whatever. It's
isn't
like
Heaven's Gate destroying a
this isn't Heaven's
studio.
Gate. This isn't even what was that, John Carter? This is not anywhere, which was kind of what this movie was kind of built up as, is one of those movies that kind of takes out a regime thing, and it's like it didn't. You're not going to quite make all your money back. The studio will be fine, and we will live on to
Not going to quite
fight
make
another
all their
battle
money back at the initial box office.
in the initial window. Exactly, and as you
Yeah,
pointed out, this movie will play for years. As you have you've added value to your library. This is something that you will be proud to own for years to come, decades to come.
yeah.
So there's other intangibles in that. So, and we'll see. It's again, we're 2 weeks in. There's still, it's a long game here. Someone pointed out in the comments, this is a rewatchable film, where Flower Moon maybe didn't have as much of that, where I think people might go back and watch this again. Oscar season could add more juice to this when it gets on HBO Max, yada, 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 and fill in your own narrative over there. So that's where I think we're landing on this. But A24,
So is it
not so
time
much,
to
Richard.
is it time to worry about A24?
I don't know. What do you think?
I mean, I'm looking at the at their couple of years here, and first of all, I don't believe any of the budget numbers that I hear from
Well, I
me.
know you've
I
been
hear
very on the record about that in your column. Yes.
off the record. Somehow, every one of their movies is sources say 20 million,
Right.
and
Right.
a lot of them sure don't look like 20 million to me.
Right.
Is all I gotta say. So I'd love for those sources to show me some paperwork on the record
Yeah.
one of these days. But
Yeah.
there. So Materialists is their big hit of the year for 36, made gross 36.
In the U.S., it's over 100 million globally. Well, Sony, but they sold off to
Okay,
Sony internationally, so Sony actually had the international on that. So
well, a genuine
yeah,
indie
that's
hit
legit.
hit
No, for
there.
an original movie, original, romance, not a rom com. That's a pretty big hit for all
Um,
around.
Warfare made Warfare, which by the eyeballing rule, I'm going to say that budget was a lot higher than 20 million or
Okay, you can
whatever
convince me either way on that, but okay.
whatever they and that grossed so that
33 globally. Yeah,
I mean
you're down a little bit. Plus, yeah, no, listen, so Smashing Machine is, the number was 50 out there. This opened to 6. It's
um what is the one with Jenna Ortega there, Death of Unicorn?
yeah, there had a few in the beginning of the year. Friendship did well for them. The
Yeah.
comedy with Paul Rudd, but the general did the Death of a Unicorn. They had another Iowa Debris film.
If this was actually truly an indie label uh at indie budgets, like the results are all right. It's with you got one hit and you got a couple singles or doubles on the indie scale. If you but they're making studio level major motion pictures here is it is a, I mean, smashing with don't try and tell me smashing with a machine cost $20 million.
Oh
Like,
no, it's $50 million. There's no, I mean, again, they did some foreign pre-sales and things like that. But even regardless of that, the $6 million opening is just, it's not good. I mean, this is The Rock's smallest opening ever for a wide release film of his. A film that was very well. I'm watch a lot of sports, very well promoted to the demographic, but Richard, I kind of, and this is the tracking on this was about 3 times as much a few weeks ago, even. So like it's just kind of not one of those mystery films, but it's also a
hmm.
dark film about an MMA fighter that most people, even I never heard of this guy. I'm not an MMA, uh, fan, but I know who Chuck Liddell is. I know who Conor McGregor is. He's not of that tier. And this is a movie about a guy going through addiction and depression. And it's like, okay, this is not like Scream. Oh my God, $25 million opening weekend.
So I'm reading the write ups on some other sites about this and saying, well, they should have had it all. They had the UFC thing and they won awards in Venice, and it's kind of like,
What if I
when do
what
two things become smaller? But it's just like the one thing actually turns off the other thing. Like,
could be,
the
could be. I
art
mean,
house crowd doesn't want to see something that has a big UFC following.
yeah,
They want to stay as far away from UFC people as possible,
right,
and go tell UFC that this is an arty film,
right,
and they will hide as far as they can from it. So
yeah.
it's kind of this weird, uh, trying to do this double act that I think is kind of self canceling.
Apparently, I mean, that's what the number, again, $6 million. Like, I think that's what happened. The thought I could see, like, and if you're pitching, oh, yes, so The Rock is a huge fan base and his opening numbers are this, this, and this. I'm like, but you're not making that kind of movie that fits those fandoms you're talking about. And the other ones, as you say, are not going to come out for the UFC movie where they have no interest in watching a bare knuckle raw, like, brutal fighting scene thing. But it's a hit to the draw of The Rock, as someone mentioned here in the comments. That's not great for, can you open a movie? Will your fans come out to see whatever you do? This is not a not a great, and this was he was playing, doing all the interviews about how he's taking got a new career opportunity and for acting and all of the kind of the prestige play doesn't seem to quite have worked out either, Richard. So
I mean,
just a bit of a loss here, honestly. B- cinema score, so even people showed up weren't necessarily crazy about it either.
I feel like when you've had these kind of, can't even think of an example, but these kind of pop people that live in sort of the pop world and then they become serious actors. Like,
Correct.
there's kind of a transition there, and it's they maybe they go away for a couple of years and they come back like having found some depths to themselves or something, and they're or it's they
So like
slowly.
McConaughey kind of had this where he was the rom-com
Yeah.
guy. He went away, came back, he did an indie film, a true indie film called Mud, which kind of like people are like, oh, he's a really good actor, but that didn't have a $50 million budget, all this weight put on it, where he was. This is a big play for The Rock to kind of do this on. You're right, Richard.
Yeah, or Tom Hanks or Michael Keaton, who
Sure.
gradually sort of went into were funny people and gradually went into more serious roles or what have you. And The Rock
Yeah.
was in like Jungle Cruise 5 seconds ago,
Yeah.
and then said, "Oh, by the way, I'm serious now." I it
Yeah.
just it just doesn't track. It's not a pitch that is believable. It's like that for is to the extent that like you're selling his journey there.
Yeah, there was a tough pivot. Someone mentioned in the comments, Jake, Stallone and Copland, but maybe another example of where it was like a
Yeah,
real, at the time, where Stallone, came up a certain way. Instead, mentioned Daylight was the movie before that, which was kind of a real not great, classic Stallone action movie. And then did Copland was his next movie. People were like, oh, that maybe landed a little bit better. That was more of but that again was an ensemble. This is The Rock as the star. This is not like I'm going to do a cool, edgy supporting role, which is sometimes you also see maybe Richard has the move. If you're gonna go, you don't go hard pivot. You do a I'm not the guy, but hey, look, I can do this other stuff. And this was it was a big bet. It was a big bet. I'd like to see a big bet, big swing. I just does not seem to have landed, Richard.
Anyway, I'd like to say that A24, they A24, God bless them. They're making real movies.
Yeah,
It's
original
it's
films.
it's a great thing for the world. It's great if there I if this somehow works for them, then fantastic. I'm all for that. I don't personally understand the economic model here, but that's I'm glad that they are here. I'm glad that they're doing what they're doing.
Yeah. Also, someone also noting that his co-star in this film was also his co-star in The Jungle Cruise and Emily Blunt. So you've seen these two people in two both co-stars in very very different roles together in this one as well. So that's just an interesting side point there.
Yeah,
Thanks for that thought. But Richard, the thing that stuck, and we can talk about Gabby's Dollhouse here in a second, was down 62% in its second week. Which I don't know anything about this property, so I'm not gonna. I know other than it was the most viewed kid series on Netflix in the first half of 2025. So like this is a globally huge presence. This has been on. It's a DreamWorks animation, and as a $32 million budget, it's at $33 million globally at this point. It's just kind of I'm kind of curious. I feel like this should have been bigger to me, but again, it's hard for me to say. But I'm just curious. Like, I would
I
have thought
really, I
this would have been
really
a.
don't know this one.
It's
So it
young kids, yeah. It skews young,
it's
but
I mean it's like 3 or 4 year old.
seemingly, yeah, as far as again, anecdotally, I know this is pretty young in terms of that. Which but look, Paw Patrol goes that way and did much better than this kind of return. So it feels like that kind of same demo, Richard, to me. At least again, my apologies if I'm off on that. Again, not something I'm as familiar with, but
So I say this without knowing about Gabby's Dollhouse, but Paw Patrol, when it came to the screens, had been a big sensation for a decade plus. It had a fairly long run to it. So bring it. I can't say how long Gabby's Dollhouse has been.
I think it's been. I mean, probably not as long, but maybe it's been a bit of a runway to it, Richard. But it does seem to be at its peak. And adult to say that it's not like it's like an aging franchise that they're trying to revive or something like that. So, look, just curious. This is the only film for families in the marketplace for till essentially Thanksgiving. So we'll see if it has some legs. But if there's a theme here, Richard, and like I'm going back like the past say 6 weeks here, it's like these fandom things again, Richard, between Taylor Swift work and the Demon Slayer anime.
uh,
That's at $125 million
yeah,
US.
how
And
about
you have
that?
like Gabby's Dollhouse, like that fandom did not show up. The Rock's fandom, the WWE, the UFC people did not show up. So it's interesting these kind of and dichotomy, and then they even put the PTA fans, if you will, the Prestige fans, if you want to put it, who seemingly did show up pretty well for one battle. So it's interesting. Again, we talk about these themes of the box office, Richard, about you have to have, like I said, a must-see event or get those people to
Yeah,
be motivated. And we're seeing various examples of that across the board in different genres here. It's actually pretty interesting to see how
yeah.
it
I
plays
mean,
out.
Taylor. It wasn't just Taylor saying, "Hey, I want you to come to the movies and give me $10 on this night." It was like
Right.
for her following, the release of a new album is a big event, and it was a place for people to get together and celebrate that with other fans. So
Yeah.
it was a meaningful moment. It was not just and I think to them that didn't feel exploitative at all that she was
I
doing this. It felt like they were giving them
I have
an
no vibe of that at
opportunity.
all. Yeah. Yeah.
So it's I don't know how the Gabby Stallhouse fans felt about whether the 4 year olds said, "Well, I don't think it's time for a big screen adaptation. They still have too many subplots that haven't been tied off
Yeah.
on that I want to see resolved here on Netflix before I'm ready to
Yeah.
make that leap." But something you have to create an event and give them a reason.
Yeah, and this doesn't seem to have the kids clamoring, "Hey, mom, take me to this." You know, like, again, or at least not to a large degree so far. So that's interesting. But anyway, just a notion of just again getting people to come out to the theater. Richard, it's always about. And this weekend we have Tron Ares coming out with Disney, so the Tron folks, and now but the sci-fi, edgier, Nine Inch Nails soundtrack, Jared Leto, IP driven stuff. So tracking I think is I'm gonna say 45 million ish or so.
Oh
So
yeah. Oh,
yeah,
okay,
I
so
mean
that's
it's some
yeah.
bucks, and then we have Roofman, which you mentioned, which you saw,
I did see Roofman.
you're a big fan, I think, right? Of
Yeah,
Tron.
it's a really nice movie. I feel it's being sold a little more as a comedy than is true to it. It didn't stop Materialists, but I
Right,
I would say this is this one, unlike Materialist, actually has comedy elements, but I wouldn't call it a comedy. I'd call it dramedy at best, or just drama with
right,
some with a few funny moments.
okay.
Um, the so like I say, that didn't hurt. Better to sell something maybe as a comedy than a serious drama, but it's a really nice movie. It is heartwarming. It is kind of a American story, so should have appeal beyond just the art house crowd potentially. Channing Tatum is great in it. Uh,
This
so
feels like a date movie, Richard. I'd say, a term that doesn't really get thrown around much anymore. That I think I would say I grew up with. I think you would probably agree with that. Where there's like, oh, it's a date movie. And, sometimes that's rom com, sometimes, but it's just like a movie you go and you have a nice, experience. It's about people and characters and
yeah.
themes, and but it
Well,
feels like that category.
it is very much a love story in
A
the
love
end.
story, yeah, okay,
and
sure.
and me telling you that just spoiled a big piece of the movie. So,
Well, I don't know
but
what you're talking about, so it's fine.
so so they can't be too overt with that in
Well,
the
there's some
marketing.
play.
But
They're playing those two up certainly. I think
yeah,
Kirsten Dunstan, and it's not just Channing Tatum. She's this person who enters his life and complicates things or whatever it might be. So yeah, I think that's fair. That's out there, Richard.
um, yeah. I hope for the best for it. It's also was a movie made by Miramax, but
Yes,
under the old Paramount regime, which had more, you know, we'll see if this is the kind of movie that the Ellison folks want to be in the business of. It's
they're all about telling stories, Richard, and creativity. And this falls under that. Derek C. in France, we should mention, pretty esteemed director helming this as well.
Yeah,
So certainly
yeah,
talent behind the camera there too. So he's a real, major filmmaker. I'm like, okay. So
yeah.
anyway,
It's a real movie. I wouldn't hesitate to recommend to anybody, but
there you go.
it's hope for the best. Conjuring is going on 500 million worldwide.
Yeah, now, as I said, that money is that anything you have any concerns about Paul Thomas Anderson. I mean, that one movie alone, like, just covers the profits on that cover, and that's not including weapons money or Superman money. This is just that one movie in Q3. It's just
Yeah,
crazy. I mean, yeah, it's 460 million dollars
and you
globally.
don't have any star there taking 20 million off the top or anything like
This
that.
is,
So
what, the fourth Conjuring movie. It's like, again, it's like all the things that just kind of, it's last rites. I'm not sure this will be the last one we see of this, but we'll see what new line creativity comes in mind here. But that's, I mean, again, above and beyond anything that movie, that genre's ever done, for that franchise has done at Warner Brothers. So
the re-release of Avatar: Way of Water got took in 3 million.
we should mention
Uh,
another fandom, certainly. Yes, the original
is that a
Avatar.
good sign or a bad sign for?
I don't know. I mean, this is the original one from the late
No, it's the second one.
uh, what is it? I
Yeah,
thought the way with the first one.
this is the one that came out. No, this is the Way of Water is
Oh,
the part two that
oh,
came out in.
oh. Okay, all right. My apologies. My apologies. My avatar, as has been proven on this conference, this Monday morning quarterbacks. My avatar fandom is not not large. So this is from 20. Thank you, David, from 2022. David in the
Yeah.
comments there. Okay, so this is a movie from 3 years ago. All right, yeah, I'm not like, yeah, $3 million. Sure, why not? I mean, the re-release stuff gets a little bit, like,
You
Sure.
gotta get caught up with the story of the
I guess I do,
where do
Richard.
things stand with the Navi and they're leaving the water kingdom and going to the fire kingdom
You could
uh,
pitch me on any plot line you want, Richard. I'll probably buy it. But yeah, so that one's coming out in December. But listen, an extra 10 million that went overseas. It did 6.8. So did $10 million globally, Richard. Um, Great. On top of the 2 point whatever $1 billion it
you
made,
know.
in the original run. So congratulations to the Disney people on that one. But
Anything else stand out for you on?
no, I think the only thing I would say to round out, Richard, I was kind of, I always like to look ahead here. It's interesting. I mean, like Thanksgiving is coming. I was like looking ahead. All right, but October is going to kind of year again. These year-over-year comps, Richard. We're about again plus 3% over 2024. Like we're pretty even with 20 still at this point,
Which was considered a disaster.
which was considered as you were the movie that
But
yes that had 5 months of nothing and then had 7 months of movies.
yeah,
Um, and look, October's going to kind of even out. They have like Venom from last year, which did very well, and October had a few big movies. We have Black Phone coming this year, and a few things. But
I mean you have three monsters coming at the end.
well, that's the thing. I mean, yes, Avatar will put this, punt this football way above and beyond, and that's fine. But even Thanksgiving, Richard, which has Wicked 2 and Zootopia 2, you gotta forget we also had
I
Gladiator
mean
2 last year, which we don't have this year on Thanksgiving. So and Gladiator 2 made a lot of money last year. So Thanksgiving may not be, and I don't know this, but Zootopia is probably not a Moana. Like I would say Moana probably, in terms of the passionate fandom, maybe it will get up there. But Thanksgiving may not be that huge year-over-year boost that's in my head, and that was just one thing I want to kind of point out
I'd
here.
keep an eye on Wicked though. I think Wicked.
But even the first one,
Uh,
I mean, just so much, it made a lot of money. So this one, I
yeah, and
think you're probably right, but
I feel like this could surpass. I feel like the 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 fandom for that has only grown since that came out. And
yeah.
I went to a Wicked event that
Oh yeah,
I'm not allowed to talk about, but it demonstrated there's a lot of loyalty to that, and it's resonated a lot of ways. And I this one, if you know anything about the show, it deals with kind of contemporary themes that will feel very contemporary, even though it was written in the 1990s. So
okay, all right, fair
uh,
enough.
it uh, so I don't know. I feel like it could have. It does not have Defying Gravity, which the first part had. So
Yeah,
um,
we'll see what
although
the music holds. But yeah, that first one, it made almost $500 million in the U.S. The first
yeah,
one, just by for I mean, again, like this one again could surpass it. But just your comp is, I'll say the comp is not nothing. That's all I'd say, about what that movie has to do. But I think you're right; it will surpass that. And thank you, David, in the comments. Zootopia, the original, did make $1 billion in the theaters in 2016. So maybe that will, indeed be a real thing to contend with there. Again, different times in the box office, but Zootopia was a pretty big hit there. So we will see.
yeah.
That's still a
I
way to go.
mean, here's a question for me with Zootopia.
Yeah.
So everybody who were that came out how many years ago? 8 years, 10 years,
Now 11 will be 11 years by the time, so
11 years.
2016. I'm sorry, 9 years since it came out. Yep.
So that one skews not the youngest, but kind of middle range, kind of 8 to 10 years old. Uh, is kind of its perfect spot. So those people are in their 20s now, and
Mm,
people and do people are 8-year olds now know the original, and are they this is why with anime that they try to rush out sequels to catch the people before they get too old and cool for this sort of thing.
yeah.
But so you're bringing, I think Moana was kind of the same. You're bringing it to Moana was stayed much more in circulation than
Yeah.
Zootopia does, I think. So I don't
Yeah.
know.
And that one cleared $1 billion too last year. So yeah, I'll be curious. Look, I hope it does. I'm not saying, but
Yeah.
Moana seemed like a little more of a slam dunk to me in terms of getting those people you mentioned, Richard, who grew up on it. to come back, as well as the kids now, which is kind of what you need to do to get to that kind of box office, I think. So anyway,
We
still a ways away.
final thing,
Yeah.
it happened in the last few weeks at some point, but I'm not sure. But Cat Video Fest 2025 crossed over into the $1 million
Yes.
range there. So and is still chugging along.
Still in
Made half a
theaters.
million. Made it, oh no, not this week. It made another $3,000 this weekend. So
Somebody's still showing it, Richard, and someone's still showing up. So yes, exactly. So
yeah,
kudos to the $1 million club. welcome
yeah.
back. Yeah,
Welcome to Cat Video Fest 2025.
yeah.
I look forward to it on PVOD. Uh,
Get right on top of that, Richard. Let me know. We look forward to your review next week. So yeah.
yeah.
All right.
All
Well, I
right.
think that wraps it up for this week, Richard. So always
Yeah,
good to talk Taylor Swift with you. I know it's always a high point of our year. So glad we had the
absolutely.
moment together here, 2 years in a row. So
The good to see you. Next week we come back for to gotta think of a good intro song for Tron here.
yeah, you can go retro. But there's new Nine Inch Nails music you can use, but I think you're combining to go a little retro on me. So I'm gonna
Yeah.
I'll
No,
be
I don't like to. I like to go a little off let people think and try to come up with what is the connection here. So
that's why the people come back week after week, Richard. So
yeah,
again, you can
since
catch, if you came in late to this conversation, you can catch us. It'll be up on the Substack on the Anklers page at theankler.com this afternoon. You can get it from the start. So just a reminder, folks. But Richard, good to see
thanks
you as
for coming.
always,
We'll
and
see you all next week.
see you next week.